What if we filled a Fire Bro fort to the brim with baddies in Super Mario 3D World? Let's find out. The battle stages in Super Mario 3D World were always odd to me. I mean, the concept was plucked from Super Mario Bros. 3, but maybe it's just the 3D environment that makes it feel easier, since you can dodge in tons of different directions. Back in the day, I'd be shaking in my boots attempting to make it through 2 Hammer Bros without getting hit. Obviously, I was a kid and still had a lot to learn, but back to 3D World, I feel like every match is a pushover, even with one character. Throw 4 in the mix and you'll wreck everything in your path. And speaking of 4, let's talk about an encounter in World 4 specifically. So if you walk all the way down to the southern part of the land in this area and pop into a pipe, you'll find yourself in a strange underground sand cave. And in here, you'll find the Fire Bros Hideout number 1, World 4B. It's just 3 flaming bros chilling in their secret fort, and then you stroll up and wreck their entire world. It's an easy encounter, since fireballs can't exactly hit you on the back upper platforms. But what if we just kept cranking up the difficulty? These 3 lads never stood a chance before, but with every encounter, we're going to keep adding more and more foes, until Luigi is thrown into a never-ending nightmare of fire, death, and destruction. I'm going to keep pumping up the difficulty until I can't beat it, so let's see what happens. Producing videos like this on a regular basis probably wouldn't be possible without the help of generous sponsors like Keeps. Keeps is an affordable online subscription service for men to treat their male pattern baldness. With Keeps, you get online consultations with real doctors for generic options of FDA-approved medications for hair loss. You'll have constant access to your doctor online, and everything is automatically shipped right to your home. Thinning hair has always sort of been a problem in my family, and 2 out of 3 guys in general will have some sort of male pattern baldness by the time they reach age 35. But the best way to prevent hair loss is to tackle it while you still have hair left. Prevention is key, as it usually takes about 6 months to start seeing results with proper medication. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/SwankyBox or click the link in the description below to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/SwankyBox. And a big thanks to Keeps for sponsoring my channel and supporting all the wacky stuff I do here on YouTube. Time to get started on our disaster piece of a level. So starting out, there's a problem. As a test, I figured I'd just duplicate the exact Fire Bros in this area to see how they behave. And well, they just all die at once. I was confused at first, but then I realized what was going on. So these 6 bros converge to 3 spots with 2 in each spot, and then they throw a fireball. And fireballs can kill other Fire Bros. So everyone just murders each other, and Luigi's left wondering what just happened. So in order to make this more exciting, we're not going to assign the established map path values to these Fire Bros. So the way they normally work is that Fire Bros can be assigned to multiple points on the map that they will jump between. But if we load in a Fire Bro without assigning them to the path, they will just stay in place. This is safer for my bros because they won't accidentally burn a fellow bro, because that's a party foul and it kills the mood, bro. So I had the Fire Bros send out an invite out to each of their buddies, and now we have 8 bros in the house. 4 of these flaming lads were static, and 4 were assigned to the path still. But basically 5 of them died immediately since they were playing with fire too close to home. The 3 jumping Fire Bros trigger the star, so from here on out that's probably going to happen a lot. But I won't ever collect the star until every enemy is defeated. So I suppose that's the real challenge. So now we're changing things up. If fire is going to burn my soldiers, then we need to space these dudes out. 11 lads in the house push to the edges of the map due to NFPA fire code, and we give it another whirl. Challenge-wise, it still isn't too difficult, and Luigi clears a gauntlet. But the army grows in size substantially, and this room is starting to feel a bit more cramped. I lined the entire perimeter of the room with bros, in hopes of starting a brutal flame war. 27 opponents now gather to bless Luigi in a strange fire ritual. Upon first draw, about half of the soldiers died though, which was actually pretty funny. It's like a game of dodgeball and everyone just throws their balls at once. There's so much going on that half the room is eliminated just because of the sheer amount of projectiles. So I was going to have to get more clever, because as it stands, there wasn't enough projectile spam. I needed to channel my inner 9-year-old Mario Maker abilities, because this wasn't enough to stop Luigi. So I called up some Hammer Bros and made them a deal. They would throw their hammers over the heads of their fiery cousins, and hopefully it would all work out. 4 in the back, and 4 in the air. Reason being is falling bros actually take a while to hit the ground, so hopefully the second wave won't die immediately. 35 shelled warriors now cramp the room, but it wasn't enough to stop Luigi. At this point, I started experimenting. I added more rows of Hammer Bros in the sky, but then I realized they weren't in the camera's sight, so they never loaded in. I also made the room wider, but it still wasn't enough to solve the problem. I needed height and variety, so giant Galoombas enter the fray. 9 big boys, 27 Fire Bros, and 16 Hammer Bros. I rotated 3 of the Galoombas because rotation can screw up things in humorous ways. and it totally worked. Upon starting the level, it was an absolute massacre, but the giant Goombas actually began walking on the walls due to the change rotation. I didn't know this was something that could happen with them, and it was honestly pretty neat. But, much like the Fire Festival, this setup went down in flames. The 8 Hammer Bros up top didn't load in because they were just outside of the camera. I cleared 3 giant lads and moved the Hammer Bros down a bit. I also tried rotating some of the bros to see if I could get them to stick to the walls, but it didn't work. So I knew the next step was to add layers to this room so that all the Fire Bros would not destroy each other. So it was time to grab some blocks and start building up the walls. I decided to throw in some Octoombas too. Those weird space Goomba sniffet things from Mario Galaxy. 8 new Fire Bros were placed on the wall with 4 Octoombas down below, and the true chaos started. So Octoombas shoot explosive rounds, which is something I wasn't thinking about when placing down these stone blocks. Because as soon as things started, the whole room basically exploded. Interesting enough, it's possible to destroy a block beneath a Fire Bro without the Fire Bro falling. So that's a thing. But the setup needed more chaos. It was already brutally hard, but I could make it worse, of course. Just double up the rows of blocks in the walls and add another 8 to 10 Fire Bros above the previous row. This way, fire would rain down from above at different intervals, and hopefully not destroy those enemies. Also, I rotate the Octoombas, which is super weird. If they are sideways, they can spin around like crazy and can shoot explosive projectiles in any direction. This element of uncertainty made the room that much more absurd. 4 more rotated Hammer Bros in the back, and we have a packed house. But we need more. More bros. More fire. More enemy spam. Ah yes, this is what I was looking for. Luigi spawns into an explosion of fury as fire descends upon him from every angle. The game ran perfectly smooth too, surprisingly. This was my version of a Super Mario Monster House. You know, those rooms you wander into in mystery dungeon games and there's just like 1,000 monsters all against you. Even though I got decently far in this maxed out room, this was something I wasn't able to clear. The stagger blocks were difficult to scale in order to defeat the Fire Bros up top, and stopping the Octoombas was a gamble on its own. I imagine there was still room for more Fire Bro enemy spam, but this felt good to me. Good in the worst way possible. Nintendo should hire me for boss fights because this is a masterpiece. Like a fine pasta just drizzled in fire sauce. Like 4 Fire Bros after doing a line of questionable substances off a toilet seat. Maybe that's too far. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this silly video, and perhaps you learned something new about 3D World game mechanics. But until my next video, cheers!